All right, this Master Fitness Training Chaos with parents raising athletes. Today we're doing our Black History segment where we talk about different things that we can teach our kids. As far as waiting for education system, that is the worst thing to do. Not even the waiting part. It's just having somebody else teach your kid what they should learn about you. Is never going to be in depth. It's never going to be at the level that they should learn it. And how much of it is going to be watered down. I'm not trying to have this stuff watered down for my kids. I'm definitely not trying to tell somebody else to do something that should not be doing it. You can't do me wrong and then tell me about how you did me wrong. You feel me? I'd much rather give it to my kids as much as possible. All right, let's get started.
We'll watch. Eventually, maybe you'll actually say when the teacher says, Christopher Columbus discovered America and he met those Indians here. There were no Indians here when Christopher Columbus got here. There were people from Africa who had been here for over 10,000 years before Christopher Columbus was born.
Let's speak on that.
It's time for us to teach our children the truth.
Our destiny
All right, let's speak
is
on
tied
that.
up in the destiny of.
Let's speak on that. A lot of time we're teaching our kids that came here as slaves. That's not necessarily the truth. Everybody didn't come here as slaves, and that's if any. All right. When we're talking about we came here as slaves, y'all got to think about the fact that how are you going to get all of these people on this boat and have them make it here alive? You feel me? The idea that you have nothing in common with the next fellow Black man besides being a slave is unfathomable. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
What do you think about hearing that you only came here as a slave and that's all that you were? Either one, come on.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, in multiple ways. You all should have so much input to give on this when you go into an educational system that says y'all need to be educated. Y'all are in an educational system that if I don't send you to school, I would get a truancy report and then I would get sent to court. You know that? But y'all have no idea or no input on what it means to be a Black person in America and how y'all feel about it. How can you have, matter of fact, what do you feel about Christopher Columbus? No, truthfully, and from what you were taught, not from what I taught you, from what you were taught in school. What do you feel about Christopher Columbus?
We never heard that.
Huh?
We never heard that.
You ever learned about Christopher Columbus?
No.
That's crazy.
No,
That's crazy.
Yeah, monster truck.
Monster truck. We're gonna get to that real soon. All right. What about you?
Besides the fact that he discovered Georgia, that he had different. I think he had different teeth or something like that. I don't know.
Check this out. You think about Lincoln. Lincoln, as far as Lincoln having wooden teeth, but in actuality, he was taking the slaves' teeth and putting them in his mouth. Check this out. It is important to know about yourself, just as it's important to know about those who oppress you or don't look that highly upon you. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
Now, if somebody do you wrong, would you want them telling your history?
No, sir.
Why would you want that? Why would you want them telling anything to your child about what happened in your past?
Because he's not going to tell the truth.
He's not going to tell the truth. They're going to tell them something, but it's going to benefit them. You feel me? Because that's all that the situation's been doing, has been benefiting them. So why do we think it's a great job to have our educational system telling that story? And it's always watered down. We can't get, I can't get any kind of monuments of any Black leaders, but yet you got a whole lot of monuments of Black oppressors. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
King Leopold killed many people, chopping off their hand. The man was horrible. They got statues of this man. They got statues of this man. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
However, our leaders, the people that we look up to, they got court cases. Malcolm X, court cases. They villainize you. Martin Luther King, you have one that's nonviolent, and one that they say is violent. Mind you, the one that's non-violent is non-violent, but the one they say is violent. Are you violent when you do something back to somebody who's done something to you?
So there's self-defense.
He's self-defense. I was about to say he's self-defense, but I wanted to see if one of y'all said. So you have one that's non-violent, and the other one that's self-defense. Not non-violent, the other one's violent. You have one to tell you that don't let nobody put their hands on you. And if they put their hands on you, to make sure they don't never put their hand on another soul again. What's wrong with that? Nothing. You should learn to keep your hands to yourself. Keep your effing hands to your effing self. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
And if you can't do that, then rightfully so, somebody should show you how to do that. And now guess what they call that? The same principle he had. Guess what they call that principle now? They made a law and they call it stand your ground. But who uses that law? Let you try to stand your ground. If you use that law, it's going to be a problem. But yet, I've seen multiple situations where a white person used that law and I don't feel like it was called for. And they call it stand your ground. There's a situation where a black man was, his family, his wife and his kids were getting in the car. A white man was at the window yelling at his wife at her window. He came over and pushed him down where his white man fell on the ground. White man then raised up and shot him. And they call it stand your ground. So despite the fact that he was defending his family, they went to the aid of the white person and said, okay, let's stand your ground. Because he was in fear of his life and he can defend himself to whatever level and means he deserves to. How is that fair? It's not. It's not. And we as black people cannot expect for anything to be fair. That's why I'm always hard on y'all and I always go what they say is overboard. If you're tired, you go upstairs and lay down. Or you can lay down on the couch, okay? Either one. Just don't hit the mic. But these are the things that we have to look for. We have to pay attention to them and realize that everything is not always fair. That word don't even exist for us. There's nothing wrong with that. We've been having it hard for a long time and we've been excelling for a long time. But that's why I make sure that in our house, you all have to go through some things. It's not going to just be easy for y'all. There's some stuff that's just not going to be fair. He going to make a mess and you're going to have to clean it up. And vice versa. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
He's going to have responsibility and you're going to have to jump in and assist. If you don't assist, then that let me know that you're not helping out your community because in this house, this is your community. So what are you doing in your community that has nothing to do with you but benefit your community? As a young black man, you have to see your community as bigger than your situation. Mind you, primary is to take care of yourself so I can better take care of my community. Right?
Yes, sir.
The better you can read, the better you can write, the better you can evaluate situations. Your common sense is very important. So I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna be the voice to somebody else. I can't have my preachers, my senator, they can't speak for me. My preacher ain't in my house. He probably don't even live on my block. I gotta take care of me. I gotta speak up for me. I gotta say, okay, this ain't cool. It ain't okay for you to be outside my house. It ain't okay for you to be outside the store. I know y'all ain't standing around here because y'all waiting on somebody. Y'all need to move. Because optics matter. The way you're perceived, it does matter. It should not matter how you look, but it does. No matter how many suits we dress up in, what you can't dress up is your skin. It's going to always be the first thing a person sees, and that instills fear. We have accomplished too much for people not to fear us. Everybody said, listen, it's not fair. You can see a young white boy and you see a young white boy. You see a young black boy, and then they're gonna charge him as a man. It's not fair. Right?
Yes, sir.
Well, shit, y'all can't have it both ways. We want people to see us as better than the rest. Then some people gonna see us as worse than the rest. It's how it is. You're gonna have to take the good with the bad. Y'all can't expect for it always to only be one way. If they gonna see you as the best and better just because, then they're gonna see you as the worst and worse just because. You get that?
Yes, sir.
If you don't, ask a question. All right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Point blank. There's so much more to you than being a slave. There's so much that you had to give to the world than been held back. And you sitting back talking about somebody ain't letting me accomplish something. The white man's holding me back. There's so much more that you can do and excel. And if you wasn't being held back, you wouldn't have the friction to move forward. What I mean by that is that a diamond ain't a diamond until it come out of the coal. And once you take the coal from around the diamond, then you say, oh shoot, that's a diamond right there. So if there's a diamond inside of you, it ain't built off things being easy. It's built off things being hard. So the fact that it made it a little harder for you, it is what it is. That's where your diamond's at. You got me?
Yes, sir.
All right, play the next.
We're watching TV and all of a sudden, boom. The bomb was between the church and the house. So the house went down on Daddy's side.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., her sister's godfather, had been leading the Montgomery bus boycott for a year.
We joined in that protest. And we were threatened that if we rode the buses, the house would be bombed. And it was. Christmas night, 1956, our house was bombed. But on December 26th, Daddy got up and rode the buses to integrate the buses. Back in the South, you had to break the law to change the law. The law was separate.
Stop it. What she say back in the South? You had to do what to change the law?
Break the law.
You had to do what?
Break the law.
You had to break the law. You had to break the law in order to change the law. Now, how did that sound?
Because it's only for black people, not for white.
Watch out, Messiah. Don't mess with that, okay?
Okay.
So now we have to break the law to change the law. Yeah, y'all got to remember that being a slave was legal at one point. It was legal. And it was illegal to hire runaway slaves. Police officers exist because they had people that decided, I'm going to go hunt down slaves for a living. They dislike us so much that they went and hunt us down for a living, and then they created a job off of it. Think about that. Being free was illegal for you. Then when they started allowing you to get jobs, you know what was illegal? It was illegal for you not to have a job. They created being illegal for blacks to not have a job, and basically saying that you can't be sitting around and saying you're not going to accept this low pay. You can't be sitting around and saying this person is rude and disrespectful to me, because you need to be working somewhere to stay out of jail. They criminalized us at every turn, and we still excel. Yeah.
Real quick, didn't they have something called like the Black codes or something?
Yeah.
Isn't that what you were?
That's what I'm referring to. Exactly.
I learned that.
Where you learned that?
We learned that at school.
And what it's called?
The Black codes.
And what they teach you?
That I think it was the radical Republicans.
Uh-huh.
They had created the Black codes in order to keep black people oppressed, because they were the ones who still wanted black people to be slaves.
Yeah. You're a slave, first of all, in your mind first. You're held back first in your mind first. The first person to tell you that you can or cannot do something is yourself. No matter how many times another person tell you can or cannot do something, you can physically say, I can. Too many people have made it out of worse situation than you're currently in. I'm not by no means saying that the situation that we're living in as far as young black men, young black women are not bad and horrific. Because it's worse to me to see that a person can say hi to me, a person can hug me, shake my hand every day, and not want to eat dinner with me. I could talk to a person every day, live right beside them, shake their hand, high five them on the football field, high five them on the basketball court, pass them the ball, receive the ball from them. But we go to two different churches. We can't praise the Lord together. Both of us Christian, but we can't praise the Lord together. What kind of mess is that? Are we really united or are you putting on the front? I much rather know a person dislike me to their core, to my face. I don't want to fellowship with you and just to realize that you don't even like me. No different than a black friend. It ain't just because they're a different color that I want to know how well you like or dislike me. No different than any color. I much rather know a person don't mess with me than they mess with me. I don't need you calling my phone asking me for favors just because. You know I'm gonna do it. You know I'm a good person. You know that I'm trying to live my life and assist when I can. I don't need none of that. I'd rather my phone not ring if it's got to ring from a black person asking me for a favor. So in turn, for white people that don't like me and for white people that just don't like me just because I am me, just because I was born, just because of my skin color, just because I am the first human being on this earth. Let's make something clear. I want to make sure that you all know this and make sure that our chat know this. I'm a firm disbeliever in black, white, green, yellow, color, whatever. I don't believe in the human race. I mean, I don't believe in races at all. I believe in one race, and that's the human race. It's only one race of beings on the earth. White people are black by far. They're just an anomaly. And it sounds bad to them because they want to be the first. But black people are the first, period. Black people are the first, black people are the earth. We are the first, we are the earth. That's why when you walk outside, you're supposed to walk with no shoes on. Why? Because it's called what? It's called grounding. You're supposed to ground. You're supposed to release your energy back into the earth. There's nothing wrong with a white person besides that one anomaly. However, because of that anomaly, they have a disdain for us. And that is what I want to make sure that y'all know, that it can be there anytime, even when you don't see it. I don't want a friend that I can go and hang with them, and then somebody else who don't like me comes around and that's also their friend. Everybody ain't gonna be friends with everybody, but if you're friends with him, you know what I know that he's doing when he's not around me? He's talking about me. So what are you saying if you and him are friends? What are you saying to him? When he's talking about me and I'm not around, what are you saying to him? You laughing with him. It would bother you if I'm your real friend and he's over there talking about me, right? It would bother you. It should if I'm your real friend. So that's why I'm saying, yeah, I know I have people that I might not like that you might be cool with. That happens. But people I really don't mess with that's going to bring me up and talk about me behind my back, and then you sit there and listen, you're not my friend. This is why I don't want that friend. And you shouldn't either. I can't have a friend that come back and tell me that somebody did something or said something about me because I want to hear the rest. You know why I want to hear the rest? Because my friend going to tell me also how they put them hands on them or how I checked them. Let me see how I checked those boy. He was over there talking, and he brought you up. And I was like, I'm listening. And then when I heard him talking, I realized he was talking about you, and I checked him right there. I said, say something else. Because if I'm not there, you there. No different than a white person. I don't want a white person that can sit over here and talk to me at work, but I can't go to their home. Now we cool, right? You cool with your little white friends at school, right? But what happens if you need a ride from school?
Oh man, I can't do it.
What are their parents gonna say?
Yeah.
You don't think they're gonna look a little uncomfortable?
Yes.
So what if their parents don't say nothing? What if their parent is well versed in the fact that we have black and white friends? And then their grandparents at home and they have to stop by the house for some reason. It's their birthday and you going by the house for the birthday party. Their grandparents been living when it was cool to say the N word. It was cool to disrespect somebody you don't know just because. So now, you gotta shake everybody's hand in there. You gotta speak to everybody. I taught you as a person that if you're the last in the room, you should be the first to what?
Speak.
If you're the last in the room, you should be the first to what?
Speak.
So you are now been taught to be respectful to somebody who's disrespectful to you. And they see you and you spoke, and the first thing they were saying that in their head they're saying that, and you're the first. You're speaking. That wasn't good enough for them to put aside their BS, but they see you as a, no matter if it's in a suit or out of a suit. You feel me?
Yes.
Saying all that to say, when you're having to break the law to change the law and have people see you as a human being, it's a rough situation considering that when you break the law, the first thing they see you as is a criminal. Exactly. All right, let's go.
They hung her by her feet from a tree. After beating her, they set her on fire.
He saved your life.
They hung her feet from a tree. After beating her, they set her on fire. And she was pregnant, so they cut her stomach open. And when the baby fell, the unborn baby fell, they stomped on it. Then they riddled her body with 60 bullets. After all that, they left her there to die. Her name is Mary Turner. She was a 21-year-old black woman married to Hayes Turner. And the reason this happened to her is because a white plantation owner who was known for brutalizing his slaves. This is 1918, by the way. Slavery was supposed to be emancipated in 1865. But anyway, a white slave owner was killed by his enslaved Africans for being brutal. When word got out that he had died, a large mob of white men and women went around killing 13 black women and children and men all over Valdosta, Georgia. Hayes Turner, who was Mary's husband, had nothing to do with the killing of Mr. Smith, but the mob lynched him anyway. One of the 13 victims was riddled with 120 bullets while hanging from a tree. Now, like I said, Mary's husband, Hayes Turner, was lynched. Mary found out about this, and she knew the names of everyone that was involved, and she decided to expose it and tell the world, hey, my husband and these 13 victims need justice. The mob did not like that at all. And if you don't know, it's 1918. You know that the white community would have done tremendously worse for less. So imagine how they felt when they were exposed. That is when they dragged her to the middle of Valdosta, Georgia, to Little River, beat her, strung her up by her feet upside down, set her on fire, cut her stomach open, stomped on her baby, and shot her over 60 times. She was 21 years old. I'm 25. My little sister's 21.
All right. All right. And knowing about yourself is equally as important as to know about the people that dislike you or your oppressors. You should not be overwhelmed with yourself and less concerned with the people that dislike you. We'll tell you that you're supposed to focus on only the good, but yeah, I can do even better when I know that bad is possible. I would never expect and only think that the bad can happen. I expect the best, but I'm aware of the rest. You feel me? So be aware of things that can happen around you. I'm not telling you to dwell on it, stress on it, and let it just overwhelm your thoughts. I'm telling you that when you go throughout your day, just know what's possible. Do anybody know what this situation is called? To do this, what is it called? It's a word that people use every day, and as Black people, we associate ourselves with it, not knowing what we're saying. Picnic.
Oh.
This is called a picnic. The original word is pick a nick. Nigga. It went from pick and nick, but picking Nigga to pick a nig to picnic. So when people are eating out with their kids and they're fellowshipping, Blacks and whites alike, they're having a picnic. And people were having a picnic with food, hanging out with their white kids, sitting around watching this event. Like, this situation wasn't just these people sitting here, just these people right here. Right? Let me tell you how lame they are. Can you tell the color of this man?
Black.
What's the color of this man?
Black.
What's the color of this man?
Black.
Do you think they're allowed to not be there?
I would think so.
They're so weak and lame that they would have killed them if they wouldn't have helped them. So because they're weak as hell, they're making this man string up a woman of his own color, a young woman of his own color, because they're weak as hell. That's what weak people do. That's what a weak-minded person does. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
On to the next one. Hold on, the Parents Raising Athletes, Master Fitness Trainer Chaos. Like, subscribe, share, like, subscribe, share. On to the next one.
He saved your life. Now you didn't even offer him a word of thanks. And now you're suing him? What is wrong with you?
A man who saved a woman from being hit by a car is now facing sexual harassment allegations. 32-year-old Daniel Reed.
All right, let's talk about this situation. The takeaway, what do you get from this?
That she think that she think that she did something like harm them or punch
Like
them
what?
or something.
Do you know what he did?
He saved them. I mean,
how did he save her?
Like going across the whole street just to save a white girl.
Yeah.
A woman, Jessica Moore, walking straight onto the road while looking down at her phone. A car was heading straight for her, seconds away from impact. Daniel reacted instantly, grabbing her and pulling her back, just as the vehicle zoomed past. Surveillance footage confirmed that his actions prevented a serious accident. But here is the twist. Jessica filed a formal complaint alleging that Daniel's actions were inappropriate and violated her personal space. Her legal team argues that even in emergency situations, you do not have the right to touch another person without consent. Daniel is in shock. He thought he was saving a life and maintains he had no ulterior motives. The video clearly shows him releasing her immediately after pulling her to safety. The case has sparked a nationwide debate. Millions believe Daniel deserves praise, not punishment. Daniel insists his sole intention was to save a life. Do you think he did the right thing?
He saved your life. Now you didn't even offer him a word of thanks. And now you're suing him? What is wrong?
Pause in the way.
Yes, sir.
All right, check this out. Let's speak on this situation. Let's speak on being this amazing person. You're going to run into ignorance every day. This is pure ignorance. Y'all do realize the man is in orange, right?
Yes, sir.
Not just on here because he's in his work clothes. He's getting off work. But they arrested him. He's in orange, which means he didn't just do something and save somebody's life. Like, she had them go pick this man up from his house, from his family, for saving her life. A white woman's tears have caused many wars. A white woman crying has caused many people to die. A white woman being a victim, forget white men, being a victim. Do you know, again, there were laws created because those same laws we talked about, because white women were so aggressive and killing their slaves when they're being whipped and punishing them, that it was specifically made to prevent white women from going to prison. So now they're not criminals just because they didn't break the law, because laws were created to make sure that they didn't go to jail. These are people, great, great, great grandmas. You feel me?
Yes.
But because you don't see them in the history books, you hear about the white men and what they do, that you think that these are your oppressors. When the white women were doing it so horrible that the white men knew that they had to protect them. You couldn't speak. You couldn't cross a white woman wrong. You tell a white woman that you don't want to mess with her, like you don't want to have sex with her, be sexually active with her, and she'll lie on you, and you'll be here. This lady is saying, you shouldn't have stopped me from texting. You should allow me to get hit. The worst thing I feel happens when a person's in a car accident like that, what I feel that happened is that a person who's driving the car now has to live with the fact that they killed somebody. I'm saying when you had that accident, the worst thing that happens in that situation is there's a person who's now living with the thought that I've killed somebody, and they living with that vision in their head consistently. You don't know if their kids or what in this car. Now they living with a body smashing up against their car and dying because of them simply driving properly. And your person was irresponsible. And this person can't say she was irresponsible. The person that's driving the car can't say that she was irresponsible, she was negligent, because they gonna seem like a horrible person to state the obvious, to state facts. You seem like a horrible person. Ain't that crazy? Nobody's thinking about the driver. They're only thinking about the person that's passed away. And if there wasn't a camera, this brother would have never got out of jail. But why is he in jail? Why isn't the law built around what's the law and factual and common sense? Why doesn't it matter that you were looking at the dash camera and you seeing this man saving your sister life? You seeing him saving a white woman's life? You should be praising this man. But instead, he didn't look at her and say, oh, she white, forget it. Let her die. And that's the fear. The fear of us being free. The fear of us getting the same home loans and living beside them. The fear of us getting the same jobs and able to provide for our family the same as them. The fear is that we're going to eventually see all the effed up stuff that they have done and do it to them. They fear us being them. You get that?
Yes, sir.
Like they possibly thought, you know what? I don't mean they as in all of them. I mean they as in the ones who think like they think. If they felt that all of us was going to be fine and just let bygones be bygones, they probably wouldn't have an issue. They probably wouldn't wait till we build up communities and then burn them down. They probably wouldn't have killed Huey Newton. They probably wouldn't have killed Fred Hampton. They probably wouldn't have done none of those things and called it the law. These are police officers. Why aren't they considered criminals? You feel me?
Yes, sir.
Why they telling me to give you vaccine that they know that they have stuff in it to give you a different Alzheimer's or make you autistic? Why are you making me do that? They want to slow down the process of you excelling. But what's the problem, I think, with them is that the white people that are in the same situation as us, as far as the community and etc., don't get that they're not with them. They're with us. Y'all are victims of this same system. That's why they have the Rainbow Coalition. A 21-year-old kid put that together. A kid. And it was a threat to our democracy, a threat to our government. You feel me?
Yes,
So you have to look at all this stuff and realize that all of these people did these things when they were being oppressed and being stressed and being held back. They started opening their own doors instead of waiting for a door to open for them. So no Peter's gonna be taking up on y'all. I'm gonna give y'all as much love as possible, but I'm gonna constantly hold y'all back from getting certain stuff that y'all like. Okay, we got the money right here. This should be simple because the stuff is right there. All we gotta do is go to the counter that's right there. You ain't earned it. You have to earn the right to be able to do certain things. That way you don't owe me. When you earn the right to do it, you don't owe me nothing. You feel me?
yes, sir.
I love y'all too much to let y'all think that everything's gonna be given to you. Bryson, you have friends of multiple colors. Kai, you have friends of multiple colors. Y'all need to know that when y'all go to their parents' house, they may not receive y'all the same way your friends do. Your friends do, you know what I mean?
Yes,
And no matter how they receive you, their parents, their grandparents, was living in an age that it was comfortable to say certain things. You feel me?
yes, sir.
All right. Play the next. Hold on. Parents raising now, please like, subscribe, share, like, subscribe, share. I'm Master Fitness Trainer Chaos. Let me read the comment. All right, too many people need this kind of talk. Good work, Pops. Hey, I appreciate you greatly, man. Appreciate you greatly. But this is what we have to do for our kids. But this is what we should have been doing before even putting it on the education system. The best thing that President Trump did was removing it out of our school. It forces you to step up and actually tell the story, but tell it properly. Because I have many stories that I was taught when I had to go to Black History class. And when I had to go to Black History class, the stories I was taught, I found out they weren't complete. So what's the point of going to Black History class if their mandate, they decide what's in the book? How your oppressor going to decide what goes in the book that talks about you? Wait a minute, this is too much. The white kids don't need to hear this. And mind you, I had that told me about it wasn't your teacher, it was Octavion's teacher. I asked them why didn't they explain certain things, and they told me the white kids would feel uncomfortable. You can't tell the white kids that the people that they sleep with every night, their grandparents, the people that they love the most, were out here killing people and calling it a damn picnic. And you can't tell the little black kids stop saying picnic. And when you say that sing the Star Spangled Banner, you should know that there's some words that are taken out that are talking about killing slaves that they run away. You see, when we go to track meet, we go to football games, everybody stand up. But we don't stand because we know that there's some words that are taken out that really embody that song. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get it. Hey, appreciate you greatly. Thank you.
It's not letting me go now.
All right, just back out. I go down. I'll go across. Let's see what he's talking about. This is important as well. All right, let's read. I'm muted. Let's read. Innocent man Lee, before Arkansas executed him in 2017 for 4 years. 4 years later, find out that he is innocent. Innocent man Lee pleaded before Arkansas executed him in 2017 that he was innocent. This happened more to black people than anybody. This is a consistent, repeated situation, but nobody goes to jail though. Once he's executed, first of all, once he was executed, the fact that if somebody did go to jail, they would never put out the fact that he was innocent. But He's been killed by the state. He's been in prison for years. Lost his life. Didn't have a kid. Didn't have a family. Didn't have, or if had a kid, didn't have a relationship with the kid. And the kid had to grow up without parents. And it's a known fact. It's a known fact that household without a father, not household without a mother. I didn't create this. I didn't create these studies. Household without fathers, period. If it's a dual household, the kid was less likely to go to prison. If it was a single household and it was a single father household, less likely to go to prison. And the numbers were equal. They was the same. But now when you talk about single mother household that people are ready to get on government aid for, and government aid is pushing you to push that man out of the house, most likely go to prison. So now this man been taken, let's say if he had a kid, he been taken away from his household no matter what, and he's a good man, ain't committed no crime, but he's viewed as a criminal. Look how you look. When you're in an environment, it's hard for you not to become that environment. Because if you don't become that environment, you're not going to survive. You can't be in prison around some wolves and acting like a sheep. You are a victim. You have to start acting like a wolf. And then if they would have released him, are you saying that he don't supposed to still be that wolf that he's been for years just to survive? His mentality would be different. They'll have no problem releasing you then. This is what your legal system does. And you'll see this a lot. The legal system, when a person commits a crime, especially alcoholism, a lot of judges are alcoholics. A lot of judges beat on their family, their wife, their kids, a lot of judges, a lot of senators, a lot of them. And they have sexual essays. They have some essay situations, a lot of them, right? But those crimes, they have less offense. But when you have certain drug crimes that have been placed into the Black community by the police and the government, by the city government and by the federal government, those crimes, the offense and the penalty is much greater. Ain't that convenient? Meaning your mom deal with people that have repeated offenses and they're just on probation. Ain't that crazy?
Yes.
There's a dude that hit somebody and killed them. He's on probation. He was drunk. He's on probation. But now you have a man who gets a weapon and that weapon kills the other kid because it's an accident. The man only had the weapon to protect his family, right? He has no charges, not even a traffic ticket, right?
Yes, sir.
And now this man is doing 10 years. He got 10 years. He can't even mourn his own child. He got 10 years for his kid accidentally getting his weapon and discharging and killing his other child. Committed no crime himself. The only crime he committed was having a weapon to protect his family, primarily from this system that we're in. But wow. Mind to with nobody to help emotionally get him back together. And you have a woman that now a widow, another broken household. If you're a Black or white man that committed a crime, they're going to give you, depending on how rough and where you committed one, they're going to give you less time. Like a Black man that committed a crime, he going to get some time because they get to use him as an example. But he going to get less time than the Black man that really should be in jail. Because now this man get to be released back into our community and get to do whatever he wants to do in our community. And he gets to pillage and terrorize our community. But guess what he also gets to do? He periodically would drift over to their community and terrorize their community. Now they get to put him on the news as a villain, and he becomes the face of our community. It's easy to control their people when they're living off of fear. So they control their people by fear. They control our people through the church and school. You feel me? They tell us we need to be in school. And then they tell us to make sure that we're praising a certain way in a certain group of people. And if we're not praising that way, then we're wrong. So now our grandparents are being controlled. The school system is controlling the parents, and they're letting the kids run wild. You feel me? All right. Parents Raising Athletes, like, subscribe, share. Appreciate y'all being here. All right, this is the last one. EPS is a black woman. 3D image. All right, let's make this the last one. We're good.
Oh.
We've been on for a minute. All right. As Parents Raising Athletes, like, subscribe, share with any family and friends. We appreciate y'all being here. Thank y'all for checking out Black History with my kids. We do this periodically. I try to do it every Sunday. Don't always record it. However, I'm gonna try to record more often and go live more often. So if you're not or don't have the time or whatever to give your kid whatever education that we can give them as far as up on ourselves and how great we are as a people and who to be aware of and what system to be aware of, I do it for you. I got you. Remember, it takes a village to do the stuff that we do. And in this village, we fucking love you.
Yeah. We done.
We done, son.